Now that is a beautiful shot on this Friday night. We're being spoiled.
What a show off.
Yeah, I know, right?
Huh?
We're being spoiled again with our weather for the weekend.
We are. I mean, it's boring for me. I'll give it that. But here we go. We've got more of the same this weekend. You know what? You know it's really sad, guys, when the most exciting thing about the 7-day forecast is we set our clocks back 1 hour tomorrow night and gain an extra hour of sleep. Otherwise, a lot of 60s for highs, upper 30s to low 40s for lows.
Rob, do you see Kentucky pulling this out?
Well, it's setting up good for them. Georgia's got to try to slow down the run game and then get Steven Johnson to make some mistakes. That's not going to be easy to do.
Thanks for watching tonight.
See you on the CW Lexington next.
This is WKYT News at 6:30 on the CW Lexington.
Good evening. I'm Sam Dick on this Friday night. Welcome to the WKYT News at 6:30 right here on the CW Lexington. Biggest story right now, and it's trending right now, statewide emergency efforts trying to deal with all the wildfires burning across the Commonwealth. The governor declared a statewide emergency yesterday to provide local and state officials immediate access to state resources. That story is the most clicked on right now on WKYT.com. That's followed by a UK grad landing a starring role in the new CBS show Pure Genius. And the suspect in a deadly Lexington crash admits to having multiple drinks. Here's what we're following right now at 6:30. So exactly what we had earlier shows you how big a story this is. Wildfires continue to burn across the state. In Wayne County, for example, fires are threatening some homes there. Our Phil Pendleton will talk with some homeowners in the line of fire who are concerned for their property and their safety. Millions of Americans are finding out this month that the price of their health insurance is going up next year. An economist, healthcare expert, joins us later in the newscast to break down the news about what Kentuckians can do to save on insurance costs. And right there, seeing a video of Officer Daniel Ellis's family and friends and fellow police officers who are honoring him today at 10:36 this morning was the exact time a year ago that he was shot in Richmond, the Richmond police officer. And then, Chris, of course, 2 days later he died.
Yeah.
So they're doing a number of things this weekend to remember him and his family.
And great to see that community coming together.
Oh,
like
in
that,
so many ways a year ago they did. Richmond and Madison County just came together and wrapped that family around their arms.
It hasn't stopped since then.
It has not stopped.
Yeah, which is absolutely awesome.
So earlier, you may have heard Chris say that he's kind of run out of things to say, or he's a little bored with the forecast. On the serious side, of course, we need the rain for the folks dealing with the fires. But on the other side of it, really a beautiful weekend ahead, right?
Yeah, the thing about it is, Sam, when it comes to weather, as you know, we all know, we have no control over it. We got to take whatever comes our way, and unfortunately what is going to keep coming our way is more of the same. And look at this beautiful sunset, and right now, 6:31-ish, the 6:32-ish, sun is setting. And in a few days from now, that sun is gone for the day because the clocks change tomorrow night. We go back 1 hour, so this is the last true sunset I can show you at 6:30, folks. Monday night, when we look at this cam, it's going to be dark already across the region. Looking at the temperatures, dropping quickly now, and you're going to watch that back porch thermometer, that car thermometer over the next 1 hour, drop maybe 8, 9, 10 degrees. With dry air in place, clear skies over top of us, boom, that thermometer drops, and we will go from the 50s through the 40s with a fairly crisp evening that is taking shape across central and eastern Kentucky. Sam, when I come back, we will focus on the beautiful but boring weekend forecast.
Thank you, Chris. As state officials continue their efforts to fight those wildfires in Kentucky, more continue to pop up in parts of eastern and southern Kentucky. One in Wayne County tonight got pretty close to some homes in the Turkey Creek area. That's along Freedom Road, and that's also near the McCreary County line. Our Phil Pendleton talked to homeowners. He has our top story at 6:30.
Flames could be seen across Turkey Creek Road Thursday night, and then residents watched the fire quickly move down the hill.
She called and told us the woods was on fire again. And I got my dad here, and we come out here, and it was going pretty good.
Monticello firefighters rushed out to protect homes in the line of the fire when it broke out about 8 o'clock Thursday night, and kept watch over the area through the night.
Well, you know, it borders our house, and, you know, I got 2 babies at home and a wife, and once fire destroys something, you never get it back.
There is no exact word on what caused these fires, but they do suspect arson. In fact, forestry officials tell me that in nearby Cumberland County, a hunter set a fire on property simply because he wasn't allowed to hunt there. Forestry officials say the fire burned more than 80 acres in northeastern Wayne County.
Fire, you know, it doesn't discriminate. You know, it doesn't pick who it damages. Our house is just within sight of this.
Officials say conditions are just right for fires to get out of control. It's windy, dry air and brittle leaves for fuel.
Since the first week of July, we got a lot of rain that week, and then it turned off dry, and we've not got much rainfall since the first week of July.
Firefighters say they were able to keep the flames from damaging any homes or property. In Wayne County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
The Monticello fire chief says his volunteers kept watch over the area from about 9 on Thursday night until early this morning, until state forestry crews could contain the fire. And one of the largest fires in the state is in Harlan County. That's where 1,500 acres are still burning. Today, National Guard troops start battling the flames from the air. They dropped water on the wildfire in the Cumberland area. The Red Cross also has volunteers in Harlan and surrounding counties right now. They say they have shelters on standby in 5 counties. It was a year ago today, as we mentioned near the top of the newscast, that Richmond police officer Daniel Ellis was shot while investigating a robbery. He died 2 days later. This morning at exactly 10:36, the time Officer Ellis was shot, Richmond police held a moment of silence to honor him. WKYT's Hillary Thornton was there.
1 year has passed since Officer Daniel Ellis responded to this convenience store. While it is 365 days later, signs of what that investigation led to are still seen.
I mean, of course, it's a day that we'll never forget. So, it's tough to put into words about what it means.
Officer Ellis following a lead on that robbery when he was shot. A tone over officers' radios this morning for a moment of silence, marking the time 1 year ago. A call came into dispatch that an officer had been shot. Officer Ellis died from his injuries 2 days later.
The past year has been even more motivating to go to work. Seeing the community support, seeing the community come together gives us that I guess the knowledge and to know that the community supports us, and it really makes every day going to work that much more special, just to carry on the work that he was doing.
Dozens remembering that sacrifice, gathering around the fallen officer's cruiser. Ellis's 4-year-old son Luke in that crowd.
He knows that it sat in front of our house. We would wait and look out the window and wait for Daddy to come home. What's going on in his mind, I'm not sure. I know for me, I just wish it would come back home. That's what I wish.
That heartbreak felt throughout this community, their support meaning the world to the Ellis family and his brothers and sisters in uniform.
We love Daniel and his family. We don't ever want to forget him.
In Richmond, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
This Sunday, Madison County first responders will play their annual Turkey Bowl. Officer Ellis will be honored during that football game, which starts at 4 at Madison Central High School. A Lexington woman accused of driving drunk and killing 2 men after crashing into them was scheduled to face a judge today, but she didn't appear in court. After being booked into jail, Suzanne Whitlow was taken back to the hospital. She is still recovering from injuries at UK Hospital. An attorney represented her during her arraignment. Her DUI charges have also been amended since this is her second offense in 5 years. According to her arrest citation, she told police she had multiple drinks before driving onto the sidewalk and hitting those 2 men. Louisville Police Detective Jason Schweitzer and UK employee Timothy Moore died from their injuries. A grand jury has indicted a former Eastern Kentucky sheriff accused of stealing thousands of dollars from the government. A federal grand jury indicted Marvin Lipford yesterday. He's accused of stealing thousands of dollars worth of funds, goods, and services during his time as sheriff. A court date for him has not been scheduled. He faces up to 10 years in prison and a maximum fine of $250,000. Children at Nicholasville Daycare Center showing their appreciation to first responders today. Students at Heartland Academy invited the first responders to the center just off of Wilmore Road for a program put on by the students.
They are going to grow up and be firefighters and EMTs and police officers. We're here to to teach them they can be anything they want to be, because they're going to be leaders one day, and we need to give them the guidance.
The center also raffled off several items to benefit the Nicholasville Fire Department's toy drive and the Shop with a Cop program. Customers shopping on the Obamacare insurance exchanges are seeing some premium hikes. Aaron Yelowitz, a UK economics professor and health reform expert, joining us in less than 3 minutes live to break down the news about how it's affecting people here in Kentucky. It's the cats versus the dogs. Dave Buzz Baker joins me later in the Sports Buzz to talk about the Cats' upcoming game against those Georgia Bulldogs. Welcome back live here to WKYT News at 6:30 on the CW Lexington. It's an issue that continues to divide political leaders in the final days leading up to the election next week. The 2017 open enrollment for the Affordable Care Act started on Monday, and many Americans are finding out the price of their health insurance is going up next year. Customers shopping on the Affordable Care Act's public insurance exchanges will see premium hikes of 20% or more in many markets. And this affects the nearly 18 million people who do not get their insurance through work, Medicare, or Medicaid. The president acknowledged the hikes during a rally in Florida yesterday.
Well, now it is true premiums are going up for a handful of people who don't get tax credits. That's important. We're going to work as hard as we can to do something about it. We would have already done it if the Republicans had helped. But keep in mind, their alternative would have been no health insurance. That's what they had before.
The concerns come as the administration seeks to whip up enthusiasm for the 2017 sign-up season. It runs through January 31st. To help us break down the news tonight about how the effects of the hikes are hitting Kentuckians and what you can do to actually save, perhaps, Aaron Yelowitz is joining us. He is a professor of economics at the University of Kentucky. His research on health care reform has been cited in the Journal of American Medical Association. Thank you, Aaron, for being with us again tonight.
Thanks a lot.
On this Friday night. So how has health care reform, more specifically the Affordable Care Act, affected folks here in Kentucky?
It's had a big effect. Kentucky has seen the largest decrease in uninsurance between 2013 and 2014 out of all the states. About 430,000 people have signed up for Medicaid, and around 200,000 or so have signed up for the private insurance via Connect, which is now transitioning over to healthcare.gov.
So more people who were not insured before have had health insurance, but the premiums are going up. What's happened to the premiums for the 20,000 purchasing private plans on this exchange?
So the 200,000. So
200,000,
yeah. So it's a big number of people purchasing. Premiums are going up. For Golden Rule insurance, premiums are going up about 47%. For those on Humana or CareSource, they're going up by about 30% or so. All dramatic increases in premiums. It should be noted, however, that that is without the subsidies. About 85% of people receive subsidies, and that matters. But even for those who receive subsidies, premiums are going up fairly dramatically.
Those are pretty big increases. So if your premium is going up, what can you do to save money? Do you have some ideas for us on that?
Excellent question, Tim.
Okay.
So a couple of things. So first off, what you pay, both in terms of premiums and in cost sharing, actually depends critically on how you forecast your income for 2017. So I went on to healthcare.gov today, plugged in zip code 40517. I put in a single mom with 3 kids and basically varied her income to see what would happen. So a number of things would happen. First off, if you kind of plug it in, you would see that if you put in $33,000, you would actually qualify for the Medicaid program. You'd be steered there. $1,000 more, you're plugged in to private insurance, and you get a $152 subsidy per month, and so that knocks off premiums quite dramatically. If your income goes up even more than that, you basically get to $47,500. That subsidy goes away, but you still qualify for generous cost sharing if you have silver plans. Now, if your income goes up to $60,750, you qualify for generous cost sharing on those silver plans. For example, if you chose a Blue Cross Blue Shield plan, you'd face about $2,250 of deductible. If your income goes up even $1 more, then basically what would happen is that generous cost sharing becomes far less generous. Your deductible would go up to about $3,500, and rather than paying $20 for a doctor's visit, you'd pay $30. So here's the basic lesson. One wants to err on the side of caution in terms of forecasting your income for next year. We hope you make a lot of money, but if you're cautious in terms of what you forecast, you potentially can save big on the exchange.
So don't forecast high, forecast low to try to keep that health insurance premium down. Is that what you're saying? If you can do that.
Exactly. Those income thresholds depend on your family size. They depend on a number of factors. But basically, once you reach those thresholds, if your income goes up even a little bit, you're in a different league where you're paying different amounts of money. And given that none of us are such great forecasters that we can forecast down to the dollar, err on the side of caution.
All right. Good advice. Aaron Yelowitz from the University of Kentucky. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Great being here.
CW Lexington. All right. So you can join the conversation by leaving your comments, if you want, on WKYT.com or go on our Facebook page. Let us know what you think. Let's check in now with our chief meteorologist, Chris Bailey, who is looking for rain because, Chris, a lot of people on the ground, we don't sometimes make enough of this, work really hard to try to stop these fires.
My goodness, without question, the forestry officials, multiple fire departments across eastern Kentucky, and National Guard obviously trying to help out as well with the increasing dry and forest fire threat that we see across the mountains. That's the bad part about all this because, Sam, as you mentioned, we do need that rain. The good part is it's beautiful weather. We're dry. We need that rain to go along with the pleasant temperatures. Gorgeous sunset a little bit ago in Lexington. Current temperatures upper 50s to low 60s into many areas, but you get out in the open countryside and that thermometer is dropping like a rock. In another 30 minutes, we'll see 40s. Upper 40s that will begin to show up on some of your back porch thermometers and your car thermometers. That'll set the stage for a little frost later tonight into early tomorrow morning. Defender Radar Network, nothing going on outside of a little cloud cover in northern Kentucky. That kept our temperatures into northern Kentucky, believe it or not, today into the low 50s for highs. So it was a big time chill under the clouds. Clouds versus sun, you can get a big temperature swing this time of year. Seasonal air coming in behind this high pressure, and that's going to hang tough as we go into the next couple of days. Tomorrow morning, some fog that will be out there. Fog in the morning will keep the frost away. If you live near a waterway especially, you'll have more fog than frost. Into the afternoon, low to mid 60s with a partly to mostly sunny sky. And as soon as the sun sets tomorrow evening, that temperature is going to drop like a rock with the chilly high pressure on top of the area. Dry conditions, dry air, light winds, setting the stage for a little more frost Sunday morning. Basically, the next 3 to 5 days looking similar to what we had today, what we're going to have tomorrow. It's a beautiful stretch of weather, but Sam, with the good comes the bad. The bad, we have the forest fires still into eastern Kentucky, and I suspect with the low humidity levels I'm seeing for the next 4 or 5 days, we may see the worst yet to come, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah, because the weather is not going to cooperate at all, and the humidity is just going to really bottom out in the coming days.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
You bet.
When we come back, live right here on the CW, what will it take for the Cats to beat the Dogs? Dave Buzz Baker breaks it down with the Buzz in Sports Next. All right, you've been waiting all week. Time now for the Sports Buzz. Each night, we talk with Dave Buzz Baker on an inside look at what's going on. Georgia in town.
Yes.
Playing Kentucky. Kentucky, at this point, has beaten some teams that people thought they should beat.
Correct.
This is a team traditionally they lose to, but who's not playing well, but who could erupt because they've got some great players. I mean, you could just take this on and on.
Sam be doing picks. Actually, Georgia is 22-3 against Kentucky since 1991. Now, the Cats beat Vanderbilt. Georgia lost to Vanderbilt. Kentucky beat Missouri by 2 touchdowns. Dogs had to win on a desperation heave. Here's the deal, though. I think whichever team is able to do their stuff like this is going to win. If Kentucky can give it to Boom and Benny and the Jets is what I call them, then they'll roll it up, okay, because Georgia's had some trouble stopping people. Georgia, on the other hand, we talked about it all week. Nick Chubb and Sonny Michel, okay? This offensive coordinator has gotten the word that those guys got to get the ball. I expect Georgia to run the ball between 35 and 40 times. Kentucky now, okay, they're about 8th or 9th there defensively. So if Georgia can get it going, they can create some problems. I think whichever team can get out to an early lead, control the clock, control the tempo like that, they win. All right, let's talk about other big games. How about Alabama and LSU? You talk about great rivalries, talk about the Iron Bowl and everything, but in terms of recruiting in the SEC and the implications for the SEC race, especially in the West, tomorrow night you'll see it live on WKYT, primetime at 8 o'clock.
Where is this game?
It's Alabama and LSU. I believe this one's in Baton Rouge. I think
you're right.
I think it is, because then they got the makeup with Florida there too. But Alabama and LSU have met 3 times when both were ranked in the top 5. 2 1 versus 2 matchups in 2011, and a 2 versus 4 game in 2015. Both teams have been ranked in the top 15 nationally every year since 2008. That's just how big a game it is. All right, now big games. Now Maryland's got the best freshman class in women's basketball. They're really, really good. Okay, so they had an exhibition opener against Bluefield State. You know what they did? They won by 129 points. I mean, come on.
Isn't there a rule against that?
And the coach said, quote, Maryland coach Brenda Free said, I thought tonight was a good tune-up for us after some initial jitters. We have so many new players between our freshmen and a transfer. We played with a lot of enthusiasm. I mean, how do you beat somebody by 129? Bluefield State did not score in the second half. They had 51 turnovers. Why do you schedule something like that? I mean, jitters. And then to say we got jitters. And then finally, we told you a lot about Ben Zobrist.
Yeah, do it fast.
The Cubs guy, right? Yep. He played here for the Lexington Legends 2005. His wife is a Christian singing artist, okay? They've got a new baby. During a rain delay, she was down in the tunnel. And all of a sudden, she hears cheering. She goes, oh, my gosh, he's going to bat. He got the first 2 strikes on him. She says she got to the top of the tunnel. They made eye contact. She gave him the fist pump, and he gets the hit that wins the series for the Cubs.
A movie will be made about that.
How about that? I mean, that's good stuff.
Dave,
have a great weekend.
All right, thank you, my man.
Good luck to you and your conundrum.
Yeah, my conundrum. Ahead tonight here on the CW Lexington, an hour of Family Feud is next. Then at 8, Vampire Diaries, followed by Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. That's at 9 o'clock over on WKYT. MacGyver at 8, Hawaii 5-0 at 9, Blue Bloods at 10,
Best
followed
show
by
on
WKYT
television.
News at 11. All right, Georgia at Kentucky. Buzz, you're first.
I predict that it is going to be cold at kickoff, seasonal. There'll be frost and fog. How did I do?
All right.
I think it'll be 27-25. I don't know. I think it's a coin flip. I really do. I think it's 27-25. I don't know. It's a 2 point. The guys in Vegas say 2 points. I'll go 2 points. I think it's that close.
You got to be braver.
I think it'll be a great game.
Who's going to win?
Go ahead, Braveheart.
I'll go with the Cats by 6. Cats by 6.
I like that. Kentucky wins the game. Be there. Big game. Go Mark Stoops. Buzz, Chris, and Sam. Bye.